Yes, sir. This is part 2 of What If Naruto Was Blessed. We left off with Naruto figuring out that that wasn't Hina's chasing Lee and stuff, and it was just like some shapeshifters or whatever. And then he went back home, and then he obviously went to sleep. So. Then he woke up the next morning and said, "I want to go do some training." But instead of doing training, he asked the Hokage, can he leave the village and just roam around and stuff? So the Hokage said, "You better be back today, though. You better be back today, though, Naruto." Naruto said, "You know me, Hokage. I never die." Then he said, "What about when you get old?" "I still won't die." And then he said, "Why is that?" "Because I'm blessed." And then the Hokage said, "That doesn't mean nothing, Naruto." Naruto said, and then he walked off. And Naruto, he left the village. Like, he was doing a whole bunch of stuff. Like, he was just looking around and stuff. Like, he was kind of bored. And then Naruto was roaming around, and he kept roaming around. And then he got bored. And then he went back to the village. And so when he went back to the village, and the Hokage had a report that a girl had just been kidnapped from the Leaf Village. He was like, "Huh?" And Naruto said, "I will go to this mission." And then he said, don't you wanna bring your teammates?" He said, no, they're kinda hurt right now." And he said, "What about Hinata? She's in perfect shape." Then he said, "Naruto, just get your teammates and go." He said, "I'll leave you, please behind." He said, "Why?" And then Naruto screamed back, "His arm is missing. What do you expect him to do? Just grow his arm back?" He said, "Naruto, can't you heal it?" And then Naruto's like, "Good idea. But that's gonna take up most of my chakra. But anyways, I'll do it. We're fellow teammates." And then Naruto got Lee and Hinata. And Lee was still in a hospital because his arm, and like he just got pitted in the hospital today. And then Naruto busted open the door, and the door just fell off. And then they were like, "Naruto, what's wrong?" And then Naruto said, "Nothing." He said, "I'll tell you after I do this." And then he used a whole bunch of chakra. You could see the chakra. That's how much chakra he was using. And then he was healing Lee's arm. And then Naruto said, "I can't do this." And then he kept going. And then Lee's arm finally it grew back or whatever. Let's just say that. And he was like, "Naruto, why are you doing this?" And then he healed Hinata's arm, and he said, "We gotta go. A girl has been kidnapped from the Leaf Village." And yeah, let's just go. And then Naruto, he jumped out of the window of the hospital window and landed on his feet. And then they were like, this might be serious." And then they were like, "But why is he going crazy though? There's just it's just one person, right?" And then Hinata was like, "Well, people have been getting kidnapped from the Leaf Village for a while now, so I assume that he's going there because he could find because we can find a lot of people that went missing." And so then Naruto, he was running. And then the Hokage said, "Just go to the keep walking, and then go to the the village hidden in the earth or something." And he was like, "Okay." And then he ran there and said, "What's up? What's up? What's up?" And he got there, and it was like a big like castle, but it looked like it wasn't even a castle. It looked like it was some type of facility because it was like a it was made out of metal, and he was no, let's just say it was made out of their defense or whatever. And he was like, you can't stop me. And then Naruto, he kept running into like the their defense, and then Naruto went for his last one when Hinata and Rock Lee got there, and they were like, Naruto, what are you doing? And then Naruto hit it one last time and broke it open. And then Naruto, he body flickered into the main door, kicked down the main door, and then he was looking. He found one of the Earth villagers, well, ninja, and he was like, "Tell me where they are." He was like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You know what I'm talking about." He was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Don't act dumb with me, or I'll kill you." And then he was like, "Okay, okay, keep going straight, and then there's some stairs. Go down there, and you'll see like prisons." He said, "What have you been doing to them?" And then he said, "I can't tell you that." Then Naruto dropped them to the ground, and then he said he used his flames on that guy and burned him alive, killing him. And then he hurried up and went to the place that the person told him, as like the person was screaming on fire, and Naruto just walked down, and he was angry. Like, imagine, like, you know how Kakushina's hair be going up? Like, when she get mad, that's Naruto right now, but it looks kind of weird. Naruto, he was like angry, so he was like real mad, and then he went down there and he saw a whole bunch of pages, and then he waited for Hinata and Rock Lee, and he said, "Hinata and Lee, you go that way. I'm gonna go this way." And then Naruto, he ran into a wall, breaking the wall, and then he just kept running along the wall, like the walls, breaking every single prison or cage or whatever, getting everybody from the Leaf Village out. And then as Hinata and Rock Lee were breaking it, they just saw a fast zoom, and then they just saw every single prison open. And they were like, "What was that?" And, and then they saw Naruto at the end of the hallway, and they were like, that was Naruto." And then Hinata was like, "Well, he is fast." And then Lee was like, "Yeah, he really is." And and Naruto got everybody out, but the last person he got out was this girl. Let's just say she was from the Leaf Village, but she was like somewhat uh let's just say she was like the let's just say she was the how they hold up, what is her name? Let's say that was the first Hokage's daughter or whatever. And like let's just say Hangurami was still alive at the time, but during the war, not too long ago, he died. And like her leg, her leg was kind of like broke. And then Naruto said, "Wait, what happened?" And then he's like, "Nothing." And then Naruto said, "Something is wrong." And then he picked her up and then started running his hair. And then he told all the Lee villagers to follow him. And Naruto said, "Hey, Rock Lee, can you carry her? I'll get us out of here." And then he was like, "Sure." Then Naruto was using Earth, like he was using Earth. And then they were like, "He's an Earth villager, ah!" And then Naruto was like, "I'm not an Earth villager. I just know how to use a whole bunch of styles." And he said, and then one of the villagers asked, "How many?" Then Naruto said, "Well, I am not able to tell you that." And then he was like, "Why not?" And then he said, "Okay, I know how to use all." And he was like, oh, what are you? And then he was like, well, just a regular person. He was like, okay. And then Naruto, he built a tunnel all the way back to the Leaf Village, and and then the Earth villagers got alerted that all of their prisoners got out like 2 hours later, and they were just about there. And then Naruto, he he knew how to control it, and then he hit away the earth bendings, and like he put them all the way underground. And no, let's just say they disappeared out of thin air. And Naruto was like, yes. And then they were like, wait, how did you do that? And then Naruto said, eh. And then this girl, she asked, can she stay with Naruto? And Naruto said, why? And then she said, well, because my father died. And Naruto was like, who is your father? She said, the first Hokage, bro, I forgot his name, Hariyama or something like that, bro. Hariyama, I think. Bro, don't make me do this tomorrow. Hariyama, bro. He was Hashirama or whatever. I don't know. And Naruto, he was like, yeah, sure. And then Naruto asked the Hokage, where was the guest room? And then he said, you should know this is your own house, Naruto. And then Naruto said, well, I really don't go upstairs. I just really stay in the main floor and downstairs. He said, why, Naruto? Naruto said, well, because why would I need to go up there? All of my stuff that I need is down here. And then he said, good point. And then Naruto said, plus my bedroom is down here, so. And then the Kage said, well, just go up the stairs and then turn right. And Naruto was like, okay. Then he body flickered back to his house and told her. And then she went upstairs, and Naruto was like, well, this is weird. And then he just went downstairs and started working out. And then Naruto punched it, and he couldn't believe that he gotten that strong. And then Naruto remembered how he just broke down every single bar, and he was like, well, I should have been knew I was that strong. Because when he punched the punching bag, like it just evaporated. And then he was like, oh god, I can definitely kill somebody. And he was like, oh. And then Naruto, and then like she was about to ask where the bathroom was, but she saw Naruto absolutely obliterate the punching bag, and she was like, she was just looking in shock. And then Naruto, he turned around to go grab his weights, and then he saw her just standing there with her jaw just dropped. And then Naruto's like, what's wrong? And then she said, are you not shocked that you just obliterated a punching bag? It's not even there no more. It just evaporated. And Naruto was like, yeah, isn't that regular? And she was like, do you think anybody could do that? And then Naruto was like, no. And then they were like, well, and then Naruto said, and then she asked where was the bathroom. And Naruto told her where it was, and then Naruto was like, well, that's kind of awkward. They don't want anybody to see my strength. And then the first Hokage's daughter was like, in her head she was thinking, he could definitely destroy somebody with his pinky finger if he wanted to. And back to Naruto's point of view, Naruto was just, he said, I'll take this outside. And then he went outside, and and started training. And he trained so hard. He trained so hard that he eventually made a big crater in his backyard. Like, because he wasn't using full percentage of his power, because he knew he could definitely destroy his house. And like, it was like not a big crater, I'm gonna say a little crater in the backyard, because he wasn't using most of his power. And Naruto, he said earth style. I forgot what the jutsu is called when they go underground, but he said earth style. And then he went underground, and then she was like, she was just coming outside, and then, like, because she heard Naruto go out there, and then she was like, where did Naruto go? And then Naruto just popped out of the ground, and then she looked at him, like, what? And then Naruto used every single one of his styles, and she was just shocked and said, "Are you a Senju?" And then Naruto was like, "Well, I'm actually all the clans, but I'm basically not at the same time." She said, "What does that mean?" And then Naruto activated his Rinnegan and his Byakugan, and then she was like, "What?" Then Naruto used all of his styles, and she was like, "How is that possible?" And then Naruto was like, "Well, I was." And then Naruto said, "Well, I was gonna tell you, but it's kind of private." And then Naruto activated his, like, sword or whatever. His, like, sword or katana, because remember in the last episode, he combined it the first whirl and made it the katana, and then he combined it the second whirl and made that one a katana. And then he put chakra in his hands and they appeared, and then she was like, "What are those?" And then she tried to touch it, and Naruto said, "This is sacred to me." And, like, he put it away. He deactivated his chakra and it put it back away, and she was like, and then she was like, "Oh, and then she was like, well, why can't I touch it?" Naruto said, "Oh, well, we'll tell you. I just don't know you that well, not right now. So I really can't tell you. I don't know if you're like a undercover spy or something." And she said, "Why would my leg be broken?" And let's just say she was on crutches or something. And she said, "Why would my leg be broken? And if that was my own village, if that were my own village, they wouldn't treat me like that." And I just said, "Yeah, but you would be working for somebody else." And then she she just looked at him dumb, and then closed his door. she looked at him like he was dumb and walked away, and then closed his door behind her. And Naruto said, "I think he has manners." And 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 then Naruto was like, "Well, I'm kinda bored." And then he ran in the house and then went to sleep. And Naruto, he woke up and he was ready to go talk to Hinata. He was ready to go talk to Lee and Hinata about something. And he went to Lee and Hinata. He assumed that Hinata was at the house, so he went there. And he didn't say that he was there, but he went to Lee's house, but he wasn't there. He was like, "I wonder what that would like to be." He said, "Probably somewhere." And then he said, "I'll leave it alone." And then he ran into them. He ran into them at the school. And Naruto, you know that little swing that he was on? He went to that swing, and then he started swinging, and then when I saw him, Naruto started laughing because they were like, "What's wrong, Naruto?" And then Naruto started laughing. He said, "Nothing's wrong. I was just playing." Then he went to smack the one in his head, and then Naruto's, "Ow! What was that for?" And she said, "You're always joking around, Naruto." And Naruto said, "Oh." And then he was like, "Yeah, okay." And then he was like, "Never mind." And Hashirami's daughter woke up and then wondered where Naruto was and looked places for him. But the one place that she didn't look was the academy, so she went there and said, "Hey, Naruto." And Naruto was like, "What are you doing here?" And then he was like, "Who is that?" And then Naruto said, "Isn't that girl that we rescued? Like, you don't remember?" And they were like, "Oh, that girl." And then Naruto said, "Yeah, she's staying at my place." And Naruto was like, "What?" And Naruto was like, "Oh, not like that. I mean, like, she didn't have no place to go, so she asked me could she stay at my place, and I said yeah." And then Lily was like, "Why are you so surprised? It's Naruto. It's Naruto." She was like, "Yeah, you're right." And Naruto, he said, "Well, I gotta go do something." And then they said, "What?" And then Naruto said, "I'm going to the secret spot." And then Hashirami's daughter said, "What secret spot?" And then Naruto said, "I need to know you first. Sorry." And then she was like, "What's up with this know you stuff?" And then Naruto just body flickered away. And then she followed Naruto, and Naruto went to the ramen shop, and she was like, "This is the secret place?" And Naruto was like, "Oh, so yeah." And he's like, "Why is it secret?" And Naruto said, "It's not. We just call it the secret place because it, it's something fun." And then she said, "Okay," and she was confused. And then Naruto ordered 2 bowls of ramen and told her to come sit down and have some ramen. And then she said, "Sure." And then Naruto, they started talking and stuff. And then she asked, "So what about those katanas and all about that stuff?" And then Naruto said, "If I tell you and you are a traitor, I will have to kill you." And then he was like, "Okay." And then Naruto could see that she was probably not a traitor, because if it was a traitor, they would probably run away. So he was like, "Yeah, I should be safe. What's the point?" And Naruto told her that when he was like 5, he was getting chased by some villagers, and they were calling him a demon and stuff. And then she was like, "Why?" And then Naruto said, "Well, I have a tails inside me." And she was like, "Oh, are you Naruto?" And then Naruto was like, "How did you know my name?" And then she said, he said that he told me, and plus you're kind. My father told me all about you. You're the ninth of Jinchuriki," she said. And Naruto was like, "Yep, that's right." And Naruto said, "But we don't get along very well." And then she said, "Why?" Then he was like, "Well, I really don't know why." And then she asked about it again, and Naruto said, "Didn't I just tell you this?" Well, I was way more interested in the Naruto stuff. And he was like, "Oh well, so when I was 5, I was getting chased by a mob of villagers, and they were calling me a demon and stuff. And I started floating." And then she's like, "What do you mean floating?" And he's like, "Just listen out for the story." And then a light came down, and it hit me right in my chest, and my wounds started healing. I felt way better. I was feeling stronger and faster. and blah blah blah, all the stuff that I said in the first episode. And then she was like, but what's up with the katanas? Then he was like, well, the katanas, are they're kind of secret to me. And what I mean by that is when I was blessed, I got a choice to pick out these daggers. She was like, I'm talking about the Naruto said, just hear me out. And I got a choice to pick out these daggers, and I picked all of them. And she said, you're greedy, huh? Naruto said, they look cool, okay? And then she was like, okay. And Naruto was like, well, I read in an ancient book that there were ancient swords, and if you got them, then you got blessed, and they were sent down by a god. And she was like, okay. And then and then in the next page, I read that you can forge them together and make katanas. And so I forged them together, and then I got a katana. And she was like, so that's where the katanas came from. But why is it not all almighty and stuff? Then Naruto said, well, I was thinking about that, but I decided to make one element of a sword and another element of a sword. And then she was like, why don't you just combine those two katanas to make one better katana? And Naruto was like, that's a good idea. I'll think about it. And then they went away, and then Naruto, and they went away to Naruto's house, and she went upstairs, and then Naruto, he went in his room and said, I'll think about that. And he said, I'll probably go do it, but I'll do it outside because I don't know what could happen. And then Naruto grabbed his two katanas and then put them together, and then they started glowing. Then he got it, and it was like a glowy. It was like this, the lightning one, but it looked different. The handle was like the wind handle. Let's just say it was like the water handle. No, the light handle. It was like the light handle, and it was like the light handle, and then the rest of the sword was just epic. It was like a katana, but it was the same katana, but like three, 1 foot longer. It was 1 foot longer, and then Naruto was like, "This is cool," and then it started glowing, and it didn't stop. And then I was like, "Wait, it's still going." And then the light came down to him, and he saw a floating guy. He was like, "Hi, Naruto Uzumaki." And he's like, "How do you know my name?" He's like, "Well, I'm the god who gave you all your powers, and I hope you are grateful what I have gave you." And he was like, "You have the power of me." And he was like, "What do you mean?" Then he was like, "Now, since you combined it, all four of those swords or whatever, or daggers, now my spirit is within you." And then Naruto was like, "What do you mean your spirit is within me?" He was like, "Well, my spirit is within you, and yeah, my spirit is within you, and you have all my powers." And Naruto was like, what do you mean?" And then he was like, just hear what I say. And then Naruto was like, okay. And then the god or whatever screamed, "I'm within you." And then Naruto was like, okay. And then Naruto was like, well, I better get going. And then she looked outside, saw a glowing guy floating, and then seeing the glowing guy go in Naruto, and Naruto was like, ugh, what was that falling on the ground? And Naruto's heart started beating really fast, and Naruto's body couldn't handle it for a second. Then Naruto said, "Rinnegan," and he tried to fight off the like his heart beating fast, and he tried to slow it down, but he couldn't slow it down. Then he used the Rinnegan to like do a whole bunch of stuff, and then eventually it stopped, and Naruto was like, breathing very hard. And then she looked at Naruto and then said nothing. And then Naruto said, "What are you looking at?" And then she was like, "Nothing." As she went back in the house, and then Naruto, he went in his house and then went in his room and laid on his bed and kept looking up at his ceiling. And he kept talking in his head. He was like, "What does this mean?" And he was like, "I should go ask Kurama." He asked Kurama what was going on, and Kurama said, "Well, I don't know either, kid." And then Kurama and him started talking all night. And then Naruto said, "Well, I'm getting kind of tired, so I should be leaving now." And then Naruto left his mindscape and went to sleep. Yeah. That's where I'm gonna be ending it off. I will pick the ship. I'm gonna pick the ship next episode, but this is where I'm ending it off. You know me. I might make, yeah, I'm gonna make the next chapter like literally right after. Like literally right after. So y'all getting a double upload today. But I might post it in. I might post it at 3. And yeah, go like and subscribe on noties. And check out my brother's channel, Reese What Ifs. Check out my gaming channel, Sir Claps. And yeah, peace.